Well, good morning, folks, and welcome back to the channel. And I do thank you all for watching, and I thank all of my subscribers. In that last video, I was making all the pieces, parts to close this area out right here. If you recall, I'm going to go ahead and close up this back end of the stern back here with one solid piece, and of course that's that piece laying right there. And I've got most of my pieces, parts made now. For all of this, of course, there'll be a lot of finish sanding involved. But before I bond those pieces in place, I want to get in here and I want to finish out these areas right in here and over there on the other side where you see where I've been busy sanding. Same thing over here. Hopefully my camera's getting all that because I'm not looking through the view screen right now. But what I want to do before I bond these pieces in place, and while I still have access to all these areas, I want to go ahead and finish those out. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and come in here, and of course I need to put a coat of resin down on the bottom of the boat right here on the inside, and I also want to put a coat of resin on the sides right there, and kind of right there where I'm waving my hand. I want to come up to about right here with the resin, just about even with where the floor panels are going to be, and then from here on up I'm going to go ahead and paint it. But before I do that, I need to get in there and sand it. And of course, in a previous video I did mention also that I need to go ahead and apply some epoxy to this lap seam right here, so I got to take care of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work it a couple of days at a time and just finish it out as I go. Also need to run electrical wiring in here before I start putting floor panels in, start closing up anything. As long as I still have access, I need to get done what I need to get done under the floor. So that's it. There's more to come on that. Like I said, just need to give these areas here a nice finished appearance. I don't want to leave them rough, and so we're going to take the time to, like I said, go ahead and sand everything out and get it smooth and get it painted and get it finished with resin and so forth. So all right, like I said, more to come, and I'll catch you in the next segment. One other thing I forgot to mention, before I start doing all of that, I have some church related things I need to take care of. And folks, you always got to keep your priorities in order. God, family, and then whatever else. All right, folks, I will be back. Okay, folks, I'm back. I just want to give you a quick update here, and this is what I got done today. If you recall, I said I needed to lay in some epoxy right there on that lap seam, and let me zoom in on that. And as you can see, I got that done over there on the left-hand side, and I got the right-hand side done also. That's up underneath here, can't see it, but I got that done, and also I got my fiberglass tape laid in those lower corners on the left hand side, and we're just waiting for that to set up now. It's not fully cured, and I use that slow hardener, so it's going to take a few hours for that to set up. And I still have not made a decision about that ice chest, whether I'm going to use that for my seat or whether I'm going to build a bench seat in this area right here, like I mentioned in that previous video. So like I said, I'll make that call later, and that's all I have for you for right now. I will be back. Okay, folks, another quick update, and here's what I've been doing. Of course, over the past weekend, it was Easter weekend, so just kind of took some time off. Holidays, that's family time there. But we're going to get this ramp back up now, and going to start getting busy again. And so to that end, what I've been doing is I've been making some little tabs right here, and let me explain what these are. When I get ready to bond the floor in place, I've got to have something in these areas here for the edges of the plywood to rest on. I can't have them resting out in open space. There has to be something for that edge to sit on, and so I've got to make a bunch of little pieces like this to bond into all of these areas, entire length of the boat, and back here at the stern, and right back here on this brace too. And that's what these little pieces are for right here. That's they're going to go right there, and I'm just going to bond them in place. Like I said, the edges of the plywood, it needs those edges need something to rest on, so that's got to get taken care of, and that's going to keep me busy for a little while. Okay, so I'm going to start bonding these pieces in, and I'm going to at least get this area done right here. And like I mentioned, I want to get the transom stern area closed out, so I'm going to concentrate on this area right here. All right, I'll be back. Oh, and in case you're wondering about these dimples, I just touched them with a drill. That's just to give the epoxy something to bite into. I didn't want to bond flat surface to flat surface. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, folks, good morning. And I've got 4 of those 6 tabs glued in that I showed you earlier. It's these tabs right here. As I explained, that's give that floor panel a place to rest whenever I get ready to bond those in. And of course, I had to bond some tabs back here on the back of the stern, on the inside there. And this little apparatus right here, that is just to hold this piece in place until the epoxy sets up. And it also will hold this piece, the top of this piece, level with the tops of the ribs and the stringers. And of course, the floor panels are going to sit on top of those. And I want to make sure we've got a nice level surface right here. I want to make sure this surface matches these, and so that's what this little apparatus is all about. Now, once the epoxy is cured, I'll remove that screw, and then we'll move on to the next area. And of course, like I mentioned, I've got to make tabs just like these here for the sides over there. And as you can see, in between all the ribs, I don't have anything there but space, and I've got to bond some tabs to the insides of the side panels. Again, that's so the floor panels aren't resting out over open space, so we don't have a chance of stepping on that at some point in the future and causing it to sag right there, and it could possibly break away from the epoxy. And so we'll just give it a little bit more support from underneath. All right, we'll be back once the epoxy has cured. We'll move on to the next area. Well, good morning, folks. I'm back, and I'm just rocking on with that process of bonding these tabs in place right here that I told you about. And of course, this piece right here, what you see, I explained that earlier, that just holds these pieces in position until the epoxy dries. And to keep things simple, I'm not even cutting these little strips to this angle right here on the side. I'm just cutting these little strips 3/4 by 3/4, and just like I said, I'm using this piece to just hold these in position while I tack them in place on the sides right here. And then after the epoxy has cured right here on the ends, I'm just tacking it on the ends. After that has cured, then I will come back later and I'll fill in this gap along the entire length of that little tab with epoxy. It will be plenty strong. Okay, folks, all I need to do now is make a couple of more tabs for this side. And like I mentioned earlier, I just want to concentrate on this area right here at the stern. I just want to get as much of this finished out in here as I can, so I can go ahead and lay that cap on right here. So I'm going to get busy with that. I will catch you in the next segment. Okay, folks, I am back once again, and as you can see, I have these pieces now bonded in completely. I filled that gap right there with epoxy on both of those, and I've now got this side tacked in place. And I think that's going to be a good place to go ahead and wrap up this video. I still have a lot of little small pieces, parts like that to make. I've got to make tabs like that for the rest of these bays. But as I mentioned previously, I'm just going to focus on this area for right now, but got to let the epoxy fire off, and I still have a lot more finish work to do in this area before I put that cap on. I need to go ahead and do just a little bit of fairing in here and do a little bit of painting, and I've got some fiberglass work to do in here also. As you can see right here, I laid down some fiberglass on the inside of this transom right here, and so just a lot of little stuff that has to be done. I will pick this up in the next video. And so I do thank each and every one of you for watching. As I always say, God bless each and every one of you. And as always, in all things, to God be the glory. We'll see you next time.